Hello, uh, I am Orkodas, and I'm going to give a short presentation on the topic which I and my team have worked upon for this town project. The name of the problem we tackled is named as the inverse sprinkler problem. The inverse sprinkler problem, though it was first introduced by Mack in way back in 1893, it was first popularized by Richard Feynman, who was an American theoretical physicist. In his book, "You Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman," in the mid 1980s. The problem statement is as follows: we are all familiar with the common lawn sprinkler, which is displayed over here. We have a water source which is kept at a higher pressure than the surroundings, which causes the water inside the uh, pipe or the sprinkler to flow out into the surrounding. As a result of this motion of water, the sprinkler will rotate in a direction opposite to the direction of the flow of water, which is out of the sprinkler. This is in accordance to the law of conservation of angular momentum, and we can actually calculate the angular velocity as well as the angular acceleration of the sprinkler. However, what is less obvious is the fact how the sprinkler will behave, that is, which way it will rotate if the situation is reversed. That is, if we now take the sprinkler and completely submerge it within water, and instead of pushing water out of the sprinkler, we suck it in by maintaining a lower pressure inside the sprinkler with respect to the outside pressure, then in which direction would it turn? Would it turn in the direction of the water flow or away from it? So this is the challenge which Feynman proposed in his book. In fact, Feynman had earlier tried to find out what would have happened when he was a graduate student at Princeton University by means of a experiment. Unfortunately, when he was conducting the experiment in the cyclotron laboratory, the glass carboy, which was basically used as a pressure controller, uh, exploded. And hence, Feynman could not conclude his experiment, neither did he publish anything what he thought would happen if he had completed the experiment. However, fortunately, uh, later physicist at the Harvard University was able to do this experiment and arrived at a suitable conclusion. This experiment was later expanded upon by physicists at the uh, Michigan State University. Uh, Basically, what they did is that they considered this apparatus. First thing to consider about this apparatus is this hollow glass cylinder, which has four protrusions out of it, four narrow nozzle-like protrusions, which are situated at 90 degrees with each other. This cylinder is then filled with water and placed inside a container which is already filled with water. Naturally, some of the water of the container will flow inside the sprinkler and displace some of the air inside it. After we have placed the sprinkler inside the water filled container, we close the container with this lid, watertight it, except for this narrow region, bulb like uh, structure, which is actually the pressure uh, bulb, which is used to control the pressure inside the container but outside the sprinkler. If we press this bulb, the pressure inside the container will increase. Once we start pressing the pressure bulb to increase the pressure, we make the following observation. We'll first note that due to the pressure gradient that has been set up, uh, water gushes into the cylinder and the sprinkler will start rotating. This we define as the inverse sprinkler mode. We will observe that the sprinkler will attain at least at a steady state will attain a fixed angular velocity, which over time will decay due to the resistive forces offered by water. However, when we do exactly the opposite, when we release the bulb, that thereby decreasing the pressure inside the container but outside the sprinkler, the direction of the pressure gradient reverses. As a result of which, water gushes out and the sprinkler will rotate in the opposite direction. This is known as the normal sprinkler mode. However, the key difference between the inverse sprinkler mode and the normal sprinkler mode is the fact that apart from the fact that they will rotate in opposite direction, is that a normal sprinkler will rotate much faster than inverse sprinkler mode. This is the observation we make from experiment. However, the uh, experimentalist at the University of Michigan went a bit further and actually measured the not only the angular velocity but also the angular momentum of the entire system. In order to do so, they first had to calculate the angular, rather the moment of inertia of the sprinkler, which they did by means of a torsion balance, and got the moment of inertia. The mass moment of inertia of the sprinkler is about 6.85 into 10 to the power minus 4 kg meter square. Further, they calculated the angular velocity of the sprinkler both in normal as well as in inverse mode over a period of 6 seconds. What they found that in the inverse mode, the angular velocity is about 0.012 radians per second, while in normal mode, the angular velocity is much higher. It is about 10 times higher and it is equal to 0.12 radians per second. They have also calculated the volumetric flow rate in order to calculate the angular momentum of water. So here is the angular momentum calculations using the velocity of water as well as the angular velocity of the sprinkler as well as the moment of inertia of the sprinkler. They have gone forward and calculated the angular momentums in inverse and in normal mode. Inverse mode, the uh, angular momentum of water is about 8.8 into 10 to the power minus 6, while that of the sprinkler is about 8.2 into 10 to the power minus 6. As these two angular momentum are in opposite direction, they roughly cancel each other. Uh, the slight difference is due to the fact that we neglected the viscous force. However, in ideal conditions, they should be approximately equal. This is of course for the inverse sprinkler mode. For the normal sprinkler mode, they calculate the angular velocity of water to be 8.8 in 10 to the power minus 5, while that of the sprinkler is 8.2 in 10 to the power minus 5 kg meter square per second. This slight difference is due to the presence of viscous friction offered by the water, but we have found out that as no external forces acts apart from this viscous friction, the angular momentum is roughly cancel each other out. This was what they found from experiments. However, what they did was ignore the effect of viscous friction, and they justified it by making some calculations through which they concluded that the torque which was generated by the water under sprinkler during the operation was very less as compared to the other forces like the pressure force. So we can, in both experimental and theoretical consideration, roughly consider the water to be an invasive fluid, at least for this particular scenario. And next, we come to at least a very qualitative idea about why the sprinkler behaves the way it does. Excuse me. The inverse sprinkler will rotate